Christianity won't save you. Christ will. G'day friends. Happy New Year to all of us. And hope you all had a great Christmas in whichever parts of the world you may be. We've had a good one too in our small tiny town. Celebrations in small communities are very different, in a good way of course. Alright friends, today we'll finish our message, Christianity Won't Save You, Christ Will, Part 2, for which the reference comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verses 22 and 23. In part 1, we have covered verse 21, where Jesus says, "Not everyone who says, 'Lord, Lord,' all the time will enter God's kingdom, but only those who do the will of God enter." In continuation to that, here in these verses 22 and 23, Jesus goes on saying, "On the day of judgment, many will come to me and say, 'Lord, Lord, we prophesied in your name and cast out demons in your name and performed many miracles in your name.' But I will reply, 'I never knew you. Get away from me, you who break God's laws.'" Original translation says, "Depart from me. I never knew you, you that work iniquity." That's what Jesus said. Before we start off, just one thing. Please know that I'm not speaking here with a silly thought that I know more than others. And also, please know that all these audios are done with love and love only. None of these messages are done with the slightest intention of pointing fingers at anyone or any group or any religion. Every word I say here applies to me first, before even it reaches others out there. So yes, I am aware of the fact that I will be judged by God if I say things with any intention other than love. Thanks. Hey, also one more thing. It's been very windy and raining heavily. So if you guys hear any disturbances in the audio, please bear with that. I don't know how to edit or to muffle those sounds in the background. Please bear, all right? Thank you. All right, in these above verses, Christ is saying, "I never knew you. Go away, get out, you all that are grossly wicked and who sin." And he's giving such serious warning to people who are claiming that they do good works, that they are in the service of God, that they are helping others, casting bad spirits out of others, helping the sick, and so on. Now, generally, if you see, all these works are considered to be good deeds, noble and godly works. And stuff like healing the sick, foretelling or prophesying about things, casting demons out of people, advising someone spiritually, all these are spiritual gifts. And generally, people who are in religious paths are the ones who do such stuff. And most importantly, all these works are done in the name of God. Yet to such ones, Jesus said, "Go away. You are wicked. I don't know you." That's what Jesus said. Now, some of us might take these words easy, thinking that they're not for us. They're just for some religious heads, spiritual leaders, gurus, priests, popes, pastors. And some might think that if those are the words to people who are doing good works, then where do average people like us stand? You see, some might think like that and end up in self-doubting. Now, whether you take it easy or you self-doubt, both are dangerous, because you see, you may not be a religious leader, a priest, or something like that, but most of us, in our own ways and in our own capacities, are somehow involved in such works. You may not be a leader in the church, but you may be leading your own family in everyday life and in walk with God. You may not be going out there on the roads and laying hands on sick and praying for them, but you sure are doing something like that in your own family or circle when it is required. And that is why these words of Jesus imply to average people like us and to religious or spiritual leaders who are full-time into such stuff. So, whoever we may be and wherever we may be in our walk with God, let's imply these words of Jesus impartially on ourselves. On the judgment day, they said, Lord, we prophesied, we healed, we gave, we helped, we performed miracles, and we did all that in your name. But Jesus replies, go away from me. You're breaking God's laws and you're wicked people. That's what Jesus said again. Everyone is gifted, small or big, one or the other way. We all are gifted with some or the other natural and spiritual gifts. Of course, it's a different story that some don't use them and some do. And maybe you do. You may be gifted with some spiritual gifts. Like, for example, you may pray for someone and they get healed. Or they may see some breakthrough happening in their life. Or maybe you foresee things, you will prophesy about things before they happen. Or maybe you go out and do some charity, things like this. And because of all that, what you do, you think you are noble. But Christ is saying you're wicked. Because of all those activities, you claim you're rendering service to others and doing godly works. But Jesus is saying you are doing wicked stuff and you're actually breaking God's laws. Why maybe he's saying that? Why? He may be saying that because all these works, you see, they could be done in the name of God outright. Yet, in the heart, one may be totally away from God, fully disobedient to Him and His word and His will. And without being a true disciple of Christ, you could do all those works. That's why he may be saying that. What matters is who you are on your inside than what you do outside. Jesus said, not everyone who says, Lord, Lord, all the time will enter God's kingdom, but only who do the will of God enter. You may be chanting God's name all the time, but if your heart is not right with God, and if you're not truly a disciple of Christ, then it's nothing but a vomit of His holy name. Obedience to God's will and His word is far, far more important than our outward activities. Even if all those activities are done under the banner of a religion and in the name of God. Now, the speaker is not saying that offering services to others, doing works in the name of God, or being connected to religious activities and organizations, all such things are wrong. No. But if one thinks that all such activities please God, and they will have a royal entry because of all those activities they do, well, that may not be the case. Because none of our actions can make us spotless or sinless. Fundamentally, we all are flawed. Like it or not, that's the truth. We are like a twisted dog's tail. No matter how much one may try to straighten it up, it just won't stay straight. None of us can boast about our good deeds and our righteous actions. See what is written in Isaiah chapter 64 and verse 6, I think. Yeah, chapter 64 verse 6. We are all infected and impure with sin. When we display our righteous deeds, they are nothing but filthy rags. When we display our righteous deeds, they are nothing but filthy rags. In the Hebrew Bible, the word for filthy rags literally means rags of menstruation. Sorry if that is too crude, but that's how Prophet Isaiah talked about man's good deeds, our righteous actions. And you thought God will accept you, He'll be pleased with you if you do some good deeds here and there. What's the point of doing all that if your heart is not right? Everything flows out of our heart, Bible says. And so if your heart is not tight and right with God, if you're not obedient to His word and His will, then what's the point of doing such works, huh? What's the point? And even worse, why advertise and make them into publicized events? Are you serving God or are you serving yourself? My friend, God is more interested in our discipleship to Him than our stewardship to the world. They said, we did miracles, we casted bad spirits out, we healed, we helped, we saved, etc., etc. in your name. And Jesus replied, get out. He just said, get out, you all workers of sin. You see, lot of works are done in the name of God. Probably because it is safe, easy, and gives you good reputation in the society and a good recognition. You may be even called as a godly or a very holy guy. But hidden behind all that may be selfish and ulterior motives. That's why Jesus is saying, get out. He's just saying, get out. Go away from me. I don't know you. One may have a strong and a very solid religious background. One may be a very active member in a religious or a spiritual organization. If you work in such organizations for some time, you might earn a title. So, one may even have a title depending on the service they're doing or the position they're holding there. But basing on all that, if one thinks they're godly, they're holy, and that they're doing God's works, and so God will be extremely pleased with them, what do I say? Last time I've checked, that was not the case. What pleases God is our true love and our obedience to His will. Not our physical appearances, no, not our worldly positions and titles we hold, and not even our outward religious activities that we do all the time. In fact, more crimes are committed in the name of religion, in the name of God, than anywhere else. Tell me, how can God be pleased just because if someone is wearing a particular colored garment, standing up there preaching about God and preaching about goodness all day, but when it turns night, they go and have sexual releases with men, with women. Even small children are not spared. How can God be pleased with someone who think in their little heads in their petty minds that the God they worship is the greatest, and pray multiple times a day, shout the name of God all day, yet torture people, shoot, blast, or even slit throats of those who oppose their beliefs. And guess what? They think that they're doing all that because God told them to do. What madness is that? Tell me, how can God be happy just because someone preaches non-violence, not to kill any creature, live in harmony with everything? They go on telling others to adapt vegetarianism. Yet, such ones are the ones who are vehemently involved in hurting and humiliating others, and even bring out constitutional laws against others who follow different religions or beliefs and who make a minor percentage of population in that area. Is it not outright violence to do so? But go on preaching non-violence and vegetarianism. What a hypocrisy. What a hypocrisy. Look closely. There's not one religion, not even one religion in the world who is not into such hideous stuff. And we all, as an individual or as a group belonging to some particular faith system, we all, irrespective of our religions, are subject to the judgment if we think we are doing good works in the name of God when we aren't. More so, judgment comes to everyone who knows clearly what Jesus said about all this and still continue to do so. All these are done in full awareness, under the name of religion and in the name of God. Even Paul, when he was still Saul, was passionately engaged in chasing, arresting, beating, stoning, and torturing followers of Jesus. He thought by doing all that, he was keeping God's laws. He believed he was doing the will of God. He thought he was doing works for God and in the name of God. But guess what? His so-called holy works did not rescue him. His strong beliefs and commitment to his own religion didn't save him. What saved him was an encounter with Jesus Christ on his way to Damascus. A personal encounter with Christ. On our way to God, what we need, what you need, and what I need, what we all need is a redemption. What we need is redemption more than religion, my friends. And that redemption is offered by Christ if only you're willing to be his true disciple. On the judgment day, they come and say, Lord, Lord, we did good works. We've healed the sick. We've prophesied. We gave charity. We casted demons out of people. When and where did God ever promise that he will be pleased and he'll allow us into his home just because we cast devils out of people? Just that you may know, even witchcraft people, black magic practicing people also do that, because devils listen to devil worshippers. When did God ever tell you that you have a VIP front seat in his presence just because you're a spiritual leader, a pastor, a guru, or a priest? When and where did God ever say you will enter God's kingdom just because you heal the sick? When did God say to you that you can enter God's kingdom if you go and prophesy to others saying that they'll get a financial miracle in a month, or maybe their son will get a job overseas, or maybe a big breakthrough or a promotion or something like that? guess what? Astrologers and tarot card readers also do that. When and where did God say, if you have a small or if you have a grand and spectacular ministry, He will be pleased with you? Self-deluded people also do that these days. You may be an active and a very important member of your church or a temple. You may be running a charity, and for all that, maybe everyone around recognizes you, but it doesn't mean that you will be recognized by God. Now, my friends, please don't think I am undermining all those things that we can do for others with the power of God. I believe in service. I do believe in miracles. I do understand the power of spiritual authority and gifts and how spiritual gifts can operate. I'm not even saying all such works are wrong or unnecessary. I am only humbly saying, don't be self-deluded and don't be self-deceptive, thinking your religion and your outward religious activities are going to help you. That's all I'm saying. You may have said God, God all the time. You may have belonged to a particular religion, or you might have worn Christianity as your religion and carried on all your activities under its banner. But on that day, when you permanently close your eyes on earth and open in front of Him up there, on the day of judgment, you may say, Lord, Lord, I have healed the sick. I had prophesied. I had casted devils out of people. I've even helped others to come to you. I've performed many miracles in your name. But Jesus will reply, go away. I don't know you. My friends, please check if you truly love God, if you truly love Him, and if you're truly obedient to His word and His will. Check if you're attached more to the activities than to Him. And please check if you're overtly attached to the religion but not to God. Because religion won't help you. Redeemer does. Love you all immensely, and God bless.